What's going on, YouTubers? Welcome to another video. So my mind has been thinking on how I can potentially get the Sauron bust, Nazgul bust, and Witch King bust. And one thing that's kind of come to mind is, what if we switched this room with that room? So currently this room has 7 48-inch wide, 24-inch deep garage shelves and 3 36-inch by 20-inch garage shelves. It's obviously quite a bit smaller of a room. Where this one, we also have 7 48 by 24, but then you have 3 48 by 20s, this, that. And then you have 2 36-inch, actually a third one there. So 3, so same amount. And then you also have the Zelda shelf, which is a 24 by 24-inch 3-tiered shelf. So this, clearly has 1, 2, 3, 4 more shelves. And in general, it's just a bigger room, because you have this big long wall where the other one kind of like just cuts off right here. And then you get that closet area. It's a bigger room, no doubt. Of course, to do the change, not only is it a ton of work, the hardest part really is moving Shockwave and Jetwing and, those two really. Everything else isn't too bad. But, of course, you may have to adjust some shelving. Not a lot, There's the idea, of where to put Sauron. You could put it here. You could put it here. You could put it here. It needs a lot of space, because it's Thanos big, so you want a lot of space. I've kind of been thinking over there, maybe even on like a pedestal. I don't know if I could fit all 3 busts there. Maybe. And I was thinking like my Transformer setup and Mortal Kombat setup are the exact same amount of garage shelves. 2 big ones and a small one. Although Transformers is really tight right now. So I wouldn't mind, on potentially, making it 3 big garage shelves and make it definitely more spacious. So I mean, if I wanted to do that as a Transformers wall, I could. If I wanted to make this Monsterverse, I could. And Lord of the Rings from right here to right here, and probably even take that shelf or part of it, And with Monsterverse, you'd probably combined a few other IPs, because it wouldn't necessarily, like if you put Monsterverse here, like, Godzilla vs. Kong, King Ghidorah, I'd ideally want to do both the busts on each side of it as well. I mean, frankly, I'd love to get an all top shelf. I could get an all top shelf right here. If you did King Ghidorah, Godzilla bust, or actually King Ghidorah, then Mecha Godzilla, Godzilla bust, Godzilla vs. Kong, Kong bust. Then it would work. And I would be okay getting rid of Kong vs. Skullcrawler if I could fit all that top shelf. And underneath, I was even thinking, man, I would love to move Game of Thrones and Alita in this room. So if you did Game of Thrones and Alita all right here, that'd work. I was even thinking I could potentially even move Jurassic Park in here. Jurassic Park from there, all, over here. I could probably fit that. You could do a Rotunda T-Rex right there in the closet. It'd fit there. And Iron Studios underneath. You could even make this a 3-tiered shelf, because the, dinosaurs aren't too big. And you could put all the 1/15ths there with the 1/6s. You could potentially do all Jurassic Park right here. The only hard one is the Raptor bust, because he is bigger. I potentially may have to take over this shelf. Though I was thinking I would love to do like the Balrog right here. Balrog versus Gandalf. And underneath just throw the Nazgul and, like Fell Beast Nazgul along with the Cave Troll. But Balrog above with the Queen Balrog mini one. The mini bust. The 1/4 here. Sauron, Witch King, and Nazgul. Like that could look pretty sick. I need to see Sauron in person measure him. Like if he's angled arm forward, other arm back, I have plenty of depth right here. And I was like, yes, this is a 20-inch shelf, but I could, probably even just do like 3 pedestals. Nazgul could go in the corner. He probably would take as much space as Vegeta. The Witch King maybe, granted that this wouldn't be a 3-tiered shelf anymore, it'd just be 2-tier for Lord of the Rings, because how tall they are. So I could probably have Witch King going a little bit onto that shelf, and then Sauron right here. Shelves would be lowered. Potentially could work. So Lord of the Rings, all 3 shelves. And then Jurassic Park. Or we could keep Warcraft there. I really would love to bring Rotunda, the dinosaurs. I couldn't fit all the dinosaurs under Monsterverse. I have too many. Transformers, like if you did it on this wall, but you spread it out a little bit more, you couldn't fit all my Transformers. You could only fit T3, basically, above and down low. If you want T4, it has to expand into other areas. Definitely something to think about. I'm trying to think how I can make it work. Not only opening space for the Sauron, like Trinity bust, basically Trinity villain bust, but also moving Jurassic Park into the room. More so Rotunda T-Rex, just because I'd love to, open up that spot. And if you could do Game of Thrones and Alita, that'd work really good. Now, I also have the Turtles and G.I. Joe. Maybe we just move Rotunda T-Rex, but keep everything else in the hallway for, Jurassic. Like, it's a, one-off piece there in the closet, Rotunda T-Rex, because it'd fit good, Because let's say you keep Warcraft, so you don't have to worry about Warcraft in the other room. You do Rotunda T-Rex in the closet. Keep all the other Jurassic where it's at, because it does fit good. And then you could do G.I. Joe in one of those shelves. And I suppose spread Ninja Turtles out. That way you can do a lead-in Game of Thrones under Monsterverse. All Monsterverse above. One Transformers wall. And then Lord of the Rings, basically all of Dragon Ball Z and that, we make it Lord of the Rings. So Lord of the Rings would dominate the room, but you'd have 3 extremely cool busts. And you would get Balrog top shelf, which would be sick, because I hate having that down low. Freaking hate it. So if you think about in the other room, where some things could go. So yeah, so let's say we keep this here, just move Rotunda, which could open up that spot, which would be real nice. Then I could do my Terminator wall. Or if I wanted to get more Prime 1 Predators, like put City Hunter there and have 2 Prime 1 Predators on each side of the TV, that'd be sick. Yeah, so this room, this is where things would get trickiest. So technically, I could just convert this to the Mortal Kombat wall, all MK here. And then from here to here would have to be the Prime 1 video game line. Like Kratos and Baldur, Kratos bust, Uncharted, Last of Us, clicker bust with Last of Us, Resident Evil 3, Resident Evil 2, Witcher, Horizon Zero Dawn, and then Neo, Bloodborne, and Ghost of Tsushima. So that would cover this setup. And I'd probably just keep these video game statues that are in the hallway there, with Tomb Raider, just keep it as is. But you could do that. That would cover like the Prime 1 video game wall with the 2 busts. MK would be covered because it's the exact same shelving. This is the wall you'd have to do Dragon Ball Z, but we're also lacking Zelda statue space in this particular setup. But converting DBZ to this. Right now, DBZ encompasses 2 double-tiered shelves with 2 more or less more shelves. So we definitely have to severely downsize Dragon Ball Z in this idea. You know, like, definitely downsize. I mean, I could potentially make this a double tier and do a similar idea, just less statues. And then you'd have to do KD Goku busts, Vegeta busts, Prime 1 Goku Vegeta, Sume Frieza, Sume Broly, you know, more or less along this. With, I would have to cut back for sure. You know, like, maybe even just get rid of quite a bit. You know, because we got KDZ Warriors, which actually would fit on one of these shelves. You know, KDZ Warriors, we got to keep KD Cell vs. Gohan, Vegeta vs. Boo, which actually I probably could fit, you know, on these shelves. That would be extremely important to me. Got to keep Vegeta Final Flash. Keep a Trunks. And goodness. Yeah, but DBZ would more or less have to go here. The problem is I don't know where to put Zelda in this room. You know, that would be like, ooh, where do you put Zelda? You know, because I could probably downsize some Zelda. But there's still not space. Unless you downsize MK or another video game, you know, line. That's the biggest problem is, like, DBZ gets downsized quite a bit, you know, from 4 big shelves to 1 big shelf and 2 small shelves. I could do double tier, you know, and just basically have less statues. I mean, currently Zelda is just this, so. If we downsized Zelda, yeah, see, DBZ, this is a must-have. Sume Broly, Sume Frieza is a must-have. I could sell all that. May even have to just sell that because I'll get both them in Z Warriors. That's a must-keep. I'd want to keep KD Trunks, Vegeta and Boo, Vegeta Final Flash. And then, let's see, let me think of my pre-orders. I got Go Tanks. I could cancel that. Z Warriors is most important. And and I'd keep Boo. Kid Boo. Gotta keep Kid Boo. I gotta have all 3 villains. You know, so Kid Boo, Sume Frieza, KD Cell. And then Gohan, Trunks. You know, because we get the other Trunks with KD Z Warriors. Androids, I'd probably, you know, keep one of the androids, maybe KD's. You have to get rid of Piccolo and Krillin and cancel Tien. Then it could work. You know, so basically, instead of having the side characters as a single statue, they're just part of Z Warriors. Only 1 villain each, and of the main characters, you get 1 Gohan, 1 Trunks, an extra Vegeta, you know, separate from this display, and then a Majin Vegeta, like the 2 dioramas. I mean, that could fit on a 36-inch shelf. That would be tough. It'd be tighter, but it probably could fit. Boom, boom. Yeah. The hardest part, honestly, is Zelda. Of course, I'd have to sell a few video game pieces, Dante, maybe Kratos. Zelda's the one I can't figure out unless you were able to move all of Jurassic in here and convert that hallway also into video game statues. Then you could make it work. You know, but ideally I'd like to keep Warcraft in this room with the other movie statues, which makes Jurassic much more difficult in here. Yeah, so, I mean, I don't want to forfeit Zelda, but I have to find a spot for it. You know, in this potential idea. I always have these potential ideas. You know, like Zelda, if it took a 36-inch shelf, it needed to be a 3-tier to make it work. You know, like if you downsized DBZ to 2 shelves and then made Zelda 1 shelf, you know, you'd have to do 3 tiers though. You could potentially do Mortal Kombat here. You know, I could probably make Mortal Kombat work. Let me think. Main villains, 1/4. Raiden, Liu Kang, Scorpion, Sub-Zero. That'd work down low. Then you'd have Goro. You have the 3 girls, the 3 ninjas. I actually probably could make this work. So if you do MK here instead, and then make this the Dragon Ball Z and Zelda. So let's say you do Zelda right here, then you have this shelf for Dragon Ball Z. We'd probably want to make it a 3-tier shelf, but give it just enough height to where you could fit the Goku and Vegeta busts with Prime 1s up top, and then all the remaining KDs and Z Warriors underneath. That's the only way I think I could fit it. So right now my shelf is just slightly too tall for KD Goku bust, so I'd have to, cut off a little bit of metal and do it. So DBZ here, and then probably do the same height for Zelda. So Zelda, so it all looks like it's, 1 taller shelves for that back wall. Let me see, how tall is Zelda to DBZ? Yeah, Zelda is actually a good height, and it might even fit KD Goku. Like you see how it's just a little bit shorter? So if we do all the shelves that height, and 36 inches would allow this to all be much more spacious. I could definitely fit it. It's just a matter of basically consolidating DBZ from this to just this. But like I said, you'd get rid of all of that, get rid of that, so 1 shelf would have to be, let's just say Sume Broly, Sume Frieza. Sume Broly, Sume Frieza. And then, let's see, that's 2 of the villains. If you do throw KD Cell and then KD Androids, you basically just have all the villains underneath. So, and then also Kid Buu. So Kid Buu. And then, let's see, so, yeah. I mean, you could do Frieza, Cell, Buu, Androids, and Broly. Next tier, which would have to be the shorter statue, so you'd have to do Gohan. See, that's where things get tricky, is the height. I mean, Sume Vegeta. You could potentially even sell Buu. It's like, I think I could get rid of that. Yeah, see, top shelf would more or less have to be this. So it's middle tier. You still have Vegeta Final Flash I want to keep. Z Warriors takes up 1 shelf, and the other shelf would have to be basically Vegeta, Trunks. You'd have to throw Sume Vegeta down here. You'd have to do it with Broly. Broly, Vegeta, Androids. Because, that Vegeta still is a villain. You'd have to do that. And then you'd have to somehow fit Vegeta, Trunks, and Gohan on a shelf. That could work, actually. That'd look really good because they're all the 4 Saiyans. You do the 4 Saiyans, Z Warriors, this on top. We'd have to make that fit. Everything else could be sold. That is the best way to make it work. Although that Trunks is so tall, I don't know if I could even fit that. Jupiter. It'd be tough height-wise, just because of the bus being so tall. It makes it very difficult, because it's like, I can't fit KD Goku bust up here. And right now, as you can see, that's pretty maxed up on height, and that barely fits here. So that's where things get tricky, is the Goku and Vegeta bust. But that is how I'd have to kind of do it. And if we can, at least at a minimum, move Rotunda T-Rex in here, that would work real good. Like imagine Rotunda T-Rex, like this shelf isn't as tall, just normal height, and then Rotunda T-Rex with some Jurassic Park props behind. That could work good. And then do Turtles and G.I. Joe. Keep Warcraft. Anyways, folks, this is just kind of me thinking about, I don't know if I'm going to do this. I need to see Sauron bust and Nazgul bust in person and make the determination if it's worth, because as you saw, you're making a lot of sacrifices to basically add a few pieces. If you think about it, we didn't have space for T4. I mean, we could have space if you moved like Warcraft and didn't do Jurassic, then you could. Because we could obviously move everything in here over there and still have 4 additional garage shelves, in essence. You know what I mean? You could definitely have space. I even wonder if Sauron bust could fit in that closet on a pedestal. Anyways, folks, let me know what you guys think of this just random Flankster idea. It's a lot of work to be moving all these statues. Like, that is days worth of work, and the potential damages that could occur. You have to take that completely apart, take that apart. King Ghidorah, you got to remove both the wings and the tail. Sauron is just heavy and tall. Everything else is just kind of heavy. From that room, I mean, just the KD busts are really heavy. Everything else isn't hard. Anyways, let me know what you guys think. Like, comment, subscribe. Have a great day.